Well, this Beau DeMayo situation just gets messier and messier. We've been following the story of his departure from Marvel Studios, and now his lawyer has responded to a new round of what they call wrong and defamatory claims about the writer. So let's take a couple minutes to talk about what his lawyer had to say, why some of the words that he chose are, we'll call them interesting, and why the response from the cast and crew seems to be the telltale of the story. None of this is getting any cleaner. Now last week, Marvel Studios and the fired X-Men 97 writer Beau DeMayo got into somewhat of a war of words online, and DeMayo made what could be some very damaging claims on why he was removed from the Season 2 credits. Now, the studio has denied that any of the changes were a result of some of his social media activity, and chatter about sexual misconduct started to make the rounds online, which was something we heard actually when he was fired. Now, later, those were followed up by some more allegations about what exactly the misconduct was, and this came via Jeff Snyder's industry report. Now, according to him, DeMayo is said to have sent unsolicited photos and groped assistants and a couple of other things, and Snyder even went on to say, and I quote, "If you were a guy who looked like they could be under 30 on the show, you have nudes whether you want them or not." Now, to be fair, Snyder is the only one who's given any details on what went on and what the exact egregious behavior could be. And since then, his own lawyer has actually reached out and tried to clarify, saying, "My client never sent lewd videos or photos to his direct reports. This is a bald-faced lie and defamatory. No one who reported Beau to HR received an inappropriate photo or video. That is simply untrue." Now, this isn't the whole statement, and there were a lot of other little details in there about NDAs and how DeMayo was basically being persecuted because he was too much of a rising star, which was one of the things I found really interesting. Now, if you roll this back a little bit, let's look at the exact words, because he says, "My client never sent lewd videos and photos to his direct reports," not denying he sent something to many other cast members of the show or people who worked on the project. Not everybody is a direct report to Beau DeMayo, and this guy is a lawyer who parses his words carefully, so I cannot believe that was by accident. He also went on to say that no one who reported Beau to HR received an inappropriate photo or video. Now, also a pretty important statement because he makes it pretty clear some of the people who worked on this project went to Marvel HR to report his behavior. Now, obviously, we don't have inside information on what those reports were, but you can look at the cast and crew, and this is something I've seen a couple of people online kind of point to as a really big deal. I was actually watching the Do You Even comic book podcast the other day, and Task made a great point. Where is all the outcry from his fellow teammates? Did you notice that nobody spoke up? That nobody said anything? That nobody defended Beau DeMayo after the first season? This suggests to me, and many other people, that these guys were not very happy. Yeah, there will be people who walk the line and don't speak out publicly out of fear of Disney or Marvel's repercussions, but that's rarely the case at 100%. And with such a controversial and high-profile firing, well, the fact that nobody spoke up, at least to me, may speak to what went on behind the scenes and those that really know what's going on. Now, I want to make it clear, I don't know if DeMayo was fired for real reasons or not, if this is unsubstantiated or real HR issues. These are all things I am not privy to. We can only talk about the story from an outside perspective. Regardless, DeMayo's first season was outstanding, so this is a huge loss for fans regardless of what went on behind the scenes. Obviously, if this behavior is true, it's completely unacceptable and absolutely a legitimate reason to kick somebody to the curb, but I find the public discourse and some of the very specific language that his lawyer is choosing, well, rather revealing, and until I get more information, and we might get that if these lawsuits fly and this goes to court, well, we're going to have to wait and see before passing any judgment. Obviously, we don't want to defame anybody else. We don't know the whole story, but we're not naive, and everybody around the project seems to be behaving in a way that sort of substantiates the claims. Hopefully we get some clarification from Disney, Marvel, somebody sometime soon. If this really did happen, DeMayo deserved to be fired. But if it didn't, and it was some kind of